Crypto news analysis here, August 8th. What is going on in the markets? ETH is alt season finally here. I think it might actually be. Let me talk about these things real quick, chat. So currently Bitcoin, it is red on the day and it is in this mean reverting state. It looks like it wants to go higher. I'm not really sure, but the bands are green on this. The 4-hour bands are green. On the daily, it is a little bit red, which is tiny concerning, but I think for now it's fine. Yeah, it might chop a bit. Honestly, what I'm slightly biased on, just based off Bitcoin price action, is that Bitcoin's probably going to chop around and go lower. Yeah, that's my current bias, because if you see this red candle after such a large impulse, that's a tiny bit of a loss of momentum. But the bands are still green, and we'll have to see. But what is really interesting are the altcoins. Ethereum at resistance right now, and yeah, it's like the sixth time it's going to try to break it. And the last time it tried to break it, it was a false breakout, but this time it is having serious momentum, and I do think this time around it will break the resistance line and go much higher. I don't think this will end here. I mean, there's also the possibility that this is a failed breakout and then, well, their Ethereum goes. But I think for now, there's actually a really good probability that this is going to be the breakout that does close around 4,100. We'll have to see. It could be wrong and it's just choppy, but at least price action wise and based off Bitcoin dominance, it is. So it's been following my white path, but right now it is at the current support. And what I do think is possible is that we will see this bounce upwards. There might be a slight pullback on alts, but a slight bounce from the support before pretty much dumping lower. So I'm slightly biased that a lot of altcoins will essentially chop a bit, but there's also a possibility that it just blasts through this resistance and just goes higher because the trend is extremely strong for Ethereum. And in terms of others chart, which is pretty much alts, I do think they just go higher as a result, because this is what happens with alt seasons, where Bitcoin underperforms while altcoins perform like crazy. That's what we're seeing right now. So we're pretty much basically in alt season right now. In terms of trades for alts, I think Solana and Dogecoin are probably one of the best bets for. Yeah, Solana and Dogecoin are probably the best bets, in my own opinion, for strongest alts you want to play when we get an alt season. So this is a trade idea I have, 38R. It's extremely risk tight. But thing is that the bands are about to turn green on this, which usually signals a strong trend higher. So a lot of the alt tokens have charts primed to just impulse higher like it's nobody's fucking business. But Bitcoin's price action is a little bit choppy here, which is something to think about, because if Bitcoin does go lower, the altcoins could also underperform as a result. But it also could be a rotation from Bitcoin to altcoins. So the altcoins will actually pump while Bitcoin dumps, and Bitcoin dominance does say this a bit, where, you know, a strong trend like this, it could just blast through the support, doesn't even respect it, and just go lower, which would mean we do get an alt season, and then shit like Dogecoin, Solana, Ethereum, they are going straight to the fucking moon. But yeah, extremely strong in terms of the altcoin market. A lot of tokens are pretty much green. So I'm eyeing virtuals right now as a potential altcoin if we get the alt season to go much higher, because virtuals has been chilling here. The RSI, it has been oversold for a while now, and it's finally catching a little bit of interest. And if I were to say like what is interesting, maybe things like Mamo. Yeah, this one's looking pretty good. Yeah, some tokens are green. What I'll also say in the altcoin sector, what is really interesting are some Solana memes, because there's a pump fund narrative right now and shit like Michi. So Michi's chart, yeah, I wouldn't really look at this one, but Mini's chart, this one's extremely strong. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this chart is very compressive for a move higher. I think this mini chart is gonna print god candles. I'm looking at this one, I might buy it. But yeah, right now, a lot of tokens on Solana actually have really strong charts to go higher. Shit like FLOG, for example. Okay, I mean, this one, I mean, it's kind of strong, but shit like Mini and what is it, Lock-in? Lock-in also has an extremely compressive chart. So shit like this, it is about to fucking go nuts, basically. Like, usually when it breaks these little wedges, they like just to moon out of fucking nowhere. So I think the Solana memes, what I'm looking at personally, are Lock-in and mini to front run this move. In terms of the troll token, this token is just going higher. This will bring a lot of risk on appetite. So it looks like it's just going to keep going higher. I don't know when this is going to stop. It's probably just going to keep pumping until it just says it doesn't want to anymore. But the thing is that if troll token keeps going higher, then there's going to be a pump fund meta, and that means they're going to chase betas, which pump fund is shilling, which I'm going to show you guys around here. So pump fund are trying to have this glass full foundation, accelerate the most organic, vibrant, and promising communities in the pump fund ecosystem. GFF will inject significant liquidity into ecosystem tokens to support our most diehard cohorts. Learn more. Yeah, so they're making this, and they're basically shilling a lot of. So this is their banner right now, and this gives you a idea of what they're gonna shill. So this is the monkey token, this is the mask, this is the Michi, this is the FWOG, this is the troll. I don't know what the fuck this is. The chill house, the mini, the USDUC, and the COPSI. So these tokens are being pushed heavily by pump fund. And the thing is that if troll keeps going higher as a narrative leader, because this is obviously the narrative leader, then the thesis is that the Solana betas like mini, and I mean, in terms of what's chart wise is the best options, mini and lock-in are probably the best. Even though lock-in isn't really a part of this, it's chart wise, it's saying something. I don't know, everybody and their mom says lock in, so it is very, very true. This is what I will personally look at, Solana memes and virtuals. I'm probably going to buy some today because, I mean, chart-wise, we are going to have an insane alt season soon. So, yeah, liquidation heat map-wise, supporting the thesis for liquidity to go higher for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes 120K, well, I don't even know where all these altcoins are going to be. So extremely, extremely bullish. And this is well Coinbase, million of assets, one Coinbase app. They're trying to have a DEX trading. They're trying to list a bunch of these tokens. So they're giving a sneak peek of some tokens in this video here. So it was basically Benji, Meagles, Ray, Virtual, XBT. So virtuals hasn't been listed yet, but if they do list virtuals, then you can expect a god candle on this shit, which is why I think shit like virtuals and Solana memes are probably one of your best bets currently for if you're going to play these altcoins. And the Solana memes, it can't be any of them. I think in particular, mini and lock-in are the best ones. In terms of AI coins, virtuals, if you wanted to play the base meme coins, Meagles and Benji probably. I mean, Benji's chart's kind of, I don't really like this chart. Meagles chart is pretty good. This chart is really, really good, the Meagles chart. But if they do list this, then I wouldn't be surprised if this does something like this, man. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. So let's look at this. Just in 4 trillion, JP Morgan expects the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates in September. Yeah, this is being priced into the market right now because people are expecting rate cuts, but yes. We got Ansem Bale post in return for bullish ETH tweets. So Ansem is like a popular Solana guy, and he's basically saying that ETH will never trade below $4,000. And he used to say that it will be above 4,000. It never will be, but he's obviously quite wrong now that Ethereum has quite strongly filled this range. I think Ethereum just goes higher, man. I think it's just going to blast through the resistance, but 51% of Gen Z members think that a 9-to-5 job is essential for achieving financial success. Instead of looking elsewhere, relying on side hustles, entrepreneurship, investing to get them to their goals. Yeah, so this is pretty important. I just want to yap about Gen Z, but a lot of us grew up in this world where we don't have a lot of financial success as the baby boomers or the Gen X. So a lot of Gen Z people are looking for alternative ways to make money inside of 9-to-5. So they do side hustles, drop shipping, crypto, investing, all of these things. It's a very common thing. What does this mean for crypto? I mean, there's a lot of extra liquidity, of course, because a lot of Gen Z, they can't control their emotions in the markets. Your emotional control is the most important thing. But I just want to give a comment on that. So this is a very important post on here about forming a thesis for investing, and I just want to talk about it because he gives a very good point. This is such a great old sailor video, and to me it encompasses the essence of investing. It really is just about putting together a vision for where the puck is going that the mass market hasn't, and having the conviction and patience to see it through. The beautiful thing about this is that all the billion, trillion dollar funds of all their 1 million year salary quants don't have any edge in doing that over you and I doing that. Everything Sailor mentions here was public knowledge. He just put it together in a way many didn't. No fancy math gets you this, just some research on the topic at hand and some high-level reasoning capability to put it together correctly and project it forward. My best TradFi trade was buying AMD at $2 before it ran to $200. The thesis was that their new chips are competitive again for the first time in 10 years. That's it, full stop. One sentence thesis for a 100x trade. Meanwhile, every analysis on Wall Street was laughing at them. They had always lost to Intel and would always undermine. You can have insane edge by simply understanding a product, making some correct assumptions about the future of the product, and having the discipline to hold until that future is realized. There's no formula for learning this. It simply takes experience and education. Read as much as you can about many things, and you push your understanding of the world as far as it can go. You find that you start making connections, start formulating visions for where things are going rather than where they are, because you now have a solid base of knowledge and pattern recognition to project from. Maximize your capacity for reasoning. Yeah, so forming investment theses are so important. So me, example, giving investment thesis for why shit like mini and lock-in are going to do fucking amazing, and even virtuals, because of what I provided here with this Coinbase and then the pump fund, and with Troll token be the narrative leader. All of this comes from my perspective on reasoning, investing, right? Because when you form these theses, your edge in the markets is you forming the thesis before everybody else realizes this. Like Troll token, I mean, this probably goes higher, honestly. I think Troll token goes higher. But the thing is that imagine if you bought it here at the bottom here and you realize, wait, Troll is one of the biggest meme coins or memes ever. And it would be so funny because it would be like Farcoin, because it's just trolling the world if it goes higher. So you could form that thesis and invest accordingly. And then there's a price action. So you have your micro and macro, and that essentially gives you an edge. And this is what you do in the meme coin space and even in AI and DeFi. And that's how you can do really well. But in crypto, it's a bit different, often less about reasoning about a product and more about reasoning how the market will feel about a product. Inherent difference when token usually doesn't equal equity in the product. Yeah, this isn't important because in stocks, it's actually tied to, I mean, most of the time in stocks, the value of the company is tied to how valuable the company actually is. There's like rare exceptions like AMC, which goes up not because the company is great, but because it got memed to hell. But in crypto, it's more about the speculative value, about how the market feels about it, because crypto is still new. There doesn't really have to be this focus on the DeFi space and how utility the product is, like in actuality. That's why really projects that don't really matter that much can go a lot higher. But the tokens that actually would have people think it's really good, you want to go buy into those, because it might not actually be good, but if they have like a really good white paper and they're really good for marketing, then other people will probably buy it, which will push the price higher, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's a pretty important distinction in crypto. But that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. I think for now, ETH probably goes higher. I mean, candle-wise, this is filling a very full candle. We're about to get the candle close in 3 hours. And Bitcoin is chopping a little bit, but this could be because people are rotating their Bitcoin into altcoins to chase into them. Because Ethereum, everybody sees this as resistance here. I think Ethereum will just, I don't even think it will try to retest this resistance. I think it'll just go higher. That's my current bias, especially with Bitcoin dominance and how it looks right now. So that's the highest probability. I was flip-flopping on this a lot, but this is what I personally realized after some thinking about the markets. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video, and I'll see you guys